Morning, Tesnoa. Good morning, Claudia. Morning, Morgan. Good morning, Michelle. Good morning, April. Good morning, Kat. Good morning, Alex.
Good morning.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm actually headed to go meet Eric and Mark.
Awesome, beautiful. Zach is in the house, everybody. Zachary's in the house. What's up, brother? It's so good to see you. Hope life is treating you well. Michael Rosenberg in the house. What's up? Ah, man, I want to open up today's call with actually a little prayer that I wrote for my brother Sam, who just literally lost his dog this morning. And he was crying on the phone with me, and I can't help but just think about when I lost my dog and, the dog that I have today. So, yeah, they're beautiful souls that walk with us on this planet for a short while, and it's a hard thing. Beloved Creator, our Father, Great Spirit, Holy Spirit, I want to take a moment this morning with our Course in Miracles tribe to honor this beautiful soul, to bring peace to my brother Sam. his amazing, his best friend, gentle spirit that walked this earth with him, reminding him of love and trust. Thank you, God, for the joy, the laughter, and the comfort that He brought Sam during his ups and downs, and may this beloved companion now return to the love and light from which he came. And may Sam's heart, across the rainbow bridge, and may Sam's heart be released of pain and hurt, and may he return to gratitude instead of grief quicker, and help him remember that this love and this experience is eternal. And the love can never truly be lost. And just praying for peace, in his heart, and that the memory of his pup, his dog, forever bring him more love, more trust. And may even deeper faith be awakened in him. And may all of us remember that this life is short, and to say the things that's on our hearts. More often. Amen. All right. So, chapter 17. We are here. We are here in chapter 17, and it's a new chapter. So, welcoming everybody into this new chapter, not only in A Course in Miracles, but perhaps in your life. Today's a new day, new opportunity, new moment, new chances to forgive, new places that we can step into, more love, more love that we can bring into our lives. So as we start chapter 17 here today, I feel more called right now to just open up for any shares. If anybody has anything that they want to share that's on their hearts, and to kind of start us off with this new chapter. Is there things in your life that feel like is new beginnings that are coming? New ways of being that you want to step into, new how you want to open your heart more. Love to open it up if there's anybody that's feeling the call to share, and no pressure at all. Okay, well, I guess we're all eager to dive into chapter 17. Let's see what new awarenesses and new rememberings, that's funny. What rememberings are ahead of us here today. So, chapter 17 is called it's called Forgiveness and the Holy Relationship. And section 1 is bringing fantasy to truth. So, first of all, what is fantasy? What does that mean, right? For anybody that is brand new to A Course in Miracles, or might not know what that really means. Fantasies are not really, it's not in the sense of like, I guess how would we normally put it? It's not really in the sense of like our well, maybe it is. It is. It's the stories that we made up about our lives. So I guess it is the same thing. It's like the creation of something, but it's the stories we make up about what success means. It's the stories that we make up about what it means to be a loving person, the stories that I make up about myself, about the status or the place that you may find yourself today. And they're typically fantasies that are confused with truths. Right? So, we all have an image of ourselves. We all have an idea of who we are, the identity of ourselves. We all have philosophies. We all have teachings that we live by, and we identify ourselves with those things. We tell ourselves stories of all of it. And we can even say that, my brother Sam has a fantasy of his dog, of the relationship that they have as well. We can even go that far. It's all the things. It's all the things that we make up and we hold like they're truths. And oftentimes these things, when they crack, right? When there's those aha and awakening moments of clarity for us. So when those things crack, we realize how fragile all of these fantasies and all of these stories really are. And so it's not the Course calls of these things fantasies, and they're not like bad things, because they're all, everything given to the Holy Spirit can teach us greatly, but they are imagined. Okay, so they're really imagined. So the Course calls them illusions. They're illusions that we created special relationships to. It's it's an attempt from the ego, from the mind, to replace the truth with other things that the Course says they are false idols, right? So for example, if I can only have this relationship, then I will be happy again. If I can only have $1 million, then I can be generous and kind. If I only had this validation, then I can be the man that I'm supposed to be. All of those things that the mind makes up in place of peace, and it's actually an attempt to give our power away in order to create conflict. Right? We're giving away what could never actually be given away. So just in that sense, the forgetting starts to happen. Like the money, the relationships, all of these things that we make up as what's going to bring us peace and bring us happiness. Yet they bring us temporary satisfaction, temporary happiness, but they never last. And so those are what the Course calls illusions. And the sooner that we recognize an illusion as an illusion, then we can actually enjoy and really just play with it and not be attached to these things, right? So it's not about becoming renounced of all things. It's not about shaming and creating guilt or judgment around the fact that you have illusions or the identities that you carry with yourself. It's nothing to do with that. Right? It's not bad to be identified with these things, but it's important to see them as they are. So there is some sort of, it's a recognition of what they are so that you can see through them. You can still feel, right? But you can still feel, but you don't become those things. The more you can see through them, the more you see through see to the truth and the nature of who we really are. And as we see ourselves in that, we start to see that in others. Right, that's really it. Our only compassion is built. Only more space, more capacity to love and forgive is a result of you recognizing the truth of who you are and being able to see past these illusions. So, chapter 17, section 1 is about bringing fantasy to truth. And as we go through all of the chapters, there will be moments that we actually remember. There will be moments that we remember, oh, I am not this person that I think I am. I am not the situation that I find myself in. I am not the heartbreak. I am not the whatever you attach behind that, right? I can experience my life through those things. It's okay, but I am not those things. And each time that these false idols break your heart, it's wow, good. It's great that I can see that for what it is. It does break my heart, but that's not me. That's not where my peace lies. And the more we feel those things as well, the more we have an opportunity to see through them, and not only see through one, but see through all the illusions. And as we see through the illusions and we stop protecting them, right? How like all the conflicts and every war that we've ever seen in human history is because somebody is protecting an illusion of something. Like people are willing to kill another person because they're protecting a fantasy. They're protecting an idea of nobility, an idea of honor, an idea of even peace and love. People are willing to kill in the name of God, right? So as we start to see through these illusions, not to judge them, right? We're not judging that people did that. We're not judging ourselves for doing that on a daily basis as we, project into the world, but we're just simply looking at them for what they are and seeing through them so that love and peace can gently take its own place. And you don't have to do it right. This is what I love about the Course. It's not about you doing it. The Course says you will never go anywhere alone. Your job, your part in all of this, like, okay, now that I know all of this, what do I need to do? Your job is so simple. The Course says merely have willingness. The willingness, a tiny bit of willingness, just like leave the door cracked open a little bit. I will take care of the rest. Right? This is the Holy Spirit coming in. And we're so resistant. We're like, no, Spirit, no, God, I got this. Like we're holding the door shut. And we're literally in a nightmare in the darkness. We're like, no, I don't want the light to come in. Like we're like little kids throwing tantrums about holding on to our fantasies. So today, on chapter 17, section 1, as we read, it's bringing fantasy to truth. And so hopefully with this, I feel today's call is truly, it feels a little bit different for me today just because of the phone call I had right before this call. And, yeah, anyways, that's what I got to say about fantasies. We'll start the read here. And, just see if you can allow yourself to bring your mind to nothingness. right? Just a place where completely open to receive. And you don't have to do this right either. You just have to have a willingness. I am willing to allow the words of A Course in Miracles and of the Holy Spirit enter me. I am willing to listen through Spirit's ears and show me, rather than trying to understand it, rather than trying to dissect what all of this means. It does not matter. Words are symbols of symbols that are two folds out already. Anyways, the words that are coming out of my mouth, the way I'm expressing them is not the same way that you're hearing them. But we can allow Spirit to guide us now in the listening. We don't have to try to understand it. There's a knowing that each one of us have. We don't need anything new. There's a knowing that is beyond the understanding of these words. So just see if you can just presence yourself to the willingness of letting Spirit enter today. And it's a short read, so just see if you can do that for 5 minutes. I know we ADD so much, and probably halfway through the read we got to check our Instagram or our messages real quick, but it's okay. Just simply come back to it when you catch yourself and and presence yourself to this, because we are going to be bringing fantasy to truth. So chapter 17, section 1. The betrayal of the Son of God lies only in illusions, and all his sins are but his own imagining. His reality is forever sinless. He need not be forgiven, but awakened. In his dreams, he had betrayed himself. He had betrayed his brothers and his God. Yet what is done in dreams has not really been done. It is impossible to convince the dreamer that this is so, for dreams are what they are because of their illusion of reality. Only in waking is the full release from them, for only then does it come perfectly apparent that they had no effect upon reality at all, and did not change it. Fantasies change reality. That is their purpose. They cannot do so in reality, but they can do so in the mind that would have reality be different. I think about some dreams I've had that I wake up, I'm like, oh man, it still feels real. Right? We've all had those, but it's a short period of time. Then we realize, oh, that was just a dream. It is then only your wish to change reality that is fearful, because by your wish you think you have accomplished what you wish. This strange position, in a sense, acknowledges your power. Yet by distorting it and devoting it to quote-unquote evil, it also makes it unreal. You cannot be faithful to two masters who ask conflicting things of you. What you use in fantasy, you deny to truth. Yet what you give to truth to use for you is safe from fantasy. When you maintain that there must be an order of difficulty in miracles, all you mean is that there are some things you would withhold from truth. You believe truth cannot deal with them only because you would keep them from truth. Very simply, your lack of faith. Very simply, your lack of faith in the power that heals all pain arises from your wish to retain some aspect of reality for fantasy. If you would but realize that this must due to your appreciation of the whole. What you reserve for yourself, you take away from him who will release you, from Spirit who will release you. Unless you give it back, it is inevitable that your perspective on reality be warped and uncorrected. As long as you would have it so long will the illusions of an order of difficulty and miracles remain with you. For you have established this order in reality by giving some of it to one teacher and some to another. And so you learn to deal with part of the truth in one way, and in another way, the other part. To fragment truth is to destroy it by rendering it meaningless. Orders of reality is a perspective without understanding, a frame of reference for reality to which it cannot really be compared at all. Think you can bring truth to fantasy and learn what truth means from the perspective of illusions. Truth truth has no meaning in illusion. The frame of reference for its meaning must be itself. When you try to bring truth to illusions, you are trying to make illusions real and keep them by justifying your belief in them. But to give illusions to truth is to enable truth to teach that their illusions are unreal and thus enable you to escape from them. Reserve not one idea aside from truth, or you establish orders of reality that must imprison you. There is no order in reality because everything there is true. Be willing then to give all you have held outside of truth to him who knows the truth and in whom in whom all is brought to truth. Salvation from separation will be complete or will not be at all. Be not concerned with anything except your willingness to have this be accomplished. He will accomplish it for you, but forget this not. When you become disturbed or lose your peace of mind because another is attempting to solve his problems through fantasy, you are refusing to forgive yourself for just the same attempt. Let me read that one more time. But forget this not. When you become disturbed, when you lose your peace of mind because another brother is attempting to solve his problem through fantasy, you are refusing to forgive yourself for just the same attempt. So as you judge somebody else that is trying to solve a problem through fantasy, you are literally thinking your problem is going to be solved through this same fantasy, right? So it's actually the same attempt. The moment that we weaponize any of this stuff as a judgment to somebody else, we have fallen into the exact same trap. And that's why the teaching of giving and receiving happens at the same time, right? This whatever you bring to your mind, it just grows. And you are holding both of you away from truth and from salvation. As you forgive him, you restore to truth what was denied by both of you, and you will see forgiveness where you have given it. So what you give, you will get. All right. So this is a practice for this section, and there may be some kind of thoughts, some trying to put these pieces together right now, but all we really have to recognize and think about is, where do we try to bring God and truth into our fantasies, right? God, please come and make this situation better. God, please do this, right? Mend my heart here about this. God, come down and change this situation. You can't, it just can't, because all you're doing is you are bringing God down to your fantasy world in an attempt to protect your illusions. And it just can't happen. Right now, when you bring your fantasies and your illusions to God and say, God, I recognize this is a fantasy, this illusion. Take it and show me. Right? Spirit, show me a different way to look at this. The fantasy and the illusion is the perspective in which we hold to something, not the truth of it. So here, my willingness, I'm cracking the door open and I'm saying, here, God, Spirit, I'm leaving the door open. Okay, I'm not going to hold the door anymore, and you come in and show me. Right? I'm not going to stop it. I'm not going to resist it. I'm not going to fight it. The Course says your job is to stop holding the door shut. Right? Just crack it open a tiny bit. And that's it. So can we bring ourselves to that, like today, with anything that we have a disturbance of the mind in? If there's anything that disturbs us, right? I mean, I have many things in my life right now that's disturbing me, and it's a great opportunity to pray so much more, because I have no idea what's actually happening. It's so interesting as I'm constantly in this place of surrender and giving over. No idea what's actually happening. I make up stuff that's happening, and then I'm like, well, that didn't really happen exactly the way that I thought in my mind. It's literally every moment that's what's happening. But we can't actually even begin to shift our perspective around it Like if we're feeling pain and sadness or anger or judgment, we can't see anything else unless we're willing to say, here, I don't need to be right about this right now. I don't have to hold on to this illusion so tightly. This is available for us all the time, with everyone, with every situation. And this is why the Course says the allegiance is total. There is no partial allegiance. You can't in this moment say, I'm willing to give this up, but let me hold this. Because truth and peace and God operate in wholeness. It's all or nothing. And it's the same thing with the ego. It's all or nothing. The vision of separation will cost you the vision of oneness. And the vision of oneness will cost you the vision of separation, because they have nothing in common. Their teachings and what they and the experience that they bring to you is completely opposites. And so you, in any moment, this is what I love about the Course, is that in any moment, there's only one of two choices. Now, you make this choice knowing that in this moment, because the Holy Spirit offers you the holy instant. The holy instant is right now in this moment, you have the possibility of shifting your perspective, shifting your experience of your life right now. But it's this instant because it lives in this instant. Now, after that, the ego comes back. The ego comes back and says, ooh, that's fine. You can have that instant, but I'm going to have the past and the future. So then the ego says, oh, yes, the Holy Spirit and God, it exists. It's good. You got that. But now come this way. Come check out this. All right. So now we choose, at one time we choose this, and another time we choose something else. So at one time we're like, okay, I'll give my illusions over. And another time I'm like, no, why don't you come down and fix my illusions? Right. And reorganize it for me so that I can be happier. And then, so we have this, the ego doesn't really care about right or wrong, separation or wholeness. It just cares that you have to choose and you're confused about choosing. It cares that you keep in your mind that one time it works to pray and give over to spirit. And another time you take over, control yourself. You sit in the throne and you make the judgment. And so now we hold both. We're like, wait, one time this works, another time this works. And just that confusion is enough for the ego. And just this conversation itself is enough for us to just practice for a lifetime. To be aware enough in a lifetime. Now, all of this comes down to one thing. It comes down to presence. It comes down to how present can you be in each moment. Because in the present moment, the totality of presence is that nothing else can exist. Your past is no longer here. Any trauma that you've ever had, any stories and illusions and fantasies that you carried with you about anyone, anything about yourself, if you can presence into this moment, none of them exists. And you are a being of infinite possibilities. And you can choose anything from this moment, from this present moment. So this is, I think the Course will go in finding the present. No, that was in the past. So we've already went through that in chapter 5 or 6, something like that, called Finding the Present. Yeah, just blast open. It's like, okay, I just had something terrible happen right now. Presence, like boom, blast open. Like all possibilities can exist in this present moment. So it's the Course says your best practice is your level 3 teachers. Okay, what is your level 3 teachers? Your level 3 teachers are the people that are with you for a lifetime, providing you unlimited opportunities to practice presence, to practice the holy instant. Oh, he always does this. My boyfriend or my husband or my wife or my girlfriend always does this, always behaves this way. And I'm going to predict this present moment through his past. It's like, here's your time to practice. All that he was, even 5 minutes ago, is not all that he is right now. I mean, it always has been, but your perception of that, your identity, your idea, your illusions, your fantasies of this person is limiting. It's a limiting. Now, all that he ever was and all that he ever will be and all of that is always kept in truth and remembered. So no matter what we're doing, no matter how hard we judge, it doesn't matter. It's just we made a mistake and it's a mistake to be corrected. We don't need to punish ourselves. We don't need to sit with it any longer than just simply recognizing, oh, I forgot. Cool. Now I remember. Back. Right? But we and as we practice the Course in Miracles, our rebound time gets shorter and shorter. And it gets shorter and shorter so that we can get that holy instant, that present moment faster and faster. We can let go of things that happen quicker and quicker. The moment we slip, we can get right back. Instead of slipping and falling and then laying there for a while and then judging ourselves for doing it and then blaming others that we fell and all of that, we just stay there for a long time. We can fall and we can get right back up. In the knowing that this is a new moment filled with infinite possibilities, infinite opportunities to forgive. And so, yeah, it's, think about the next time that you pray, right? Like, are you praying for something to come down to bring something to the current condition of your reality, right? Are you rearranging the furniture of your life and trying to have God come down and rearrange it for you so that you may feel more peace? Or are you bringing the illusion of all this chaos to God and say, God, you show me what this all means? Because it's always been perfect. You've always been perfect. Everyone's always been perfect. And as we're willing, at some point, I imagine myself just sitting in a rocking chair on my porch, just don't really need to do anything and just constantly be in a state of joy and and when we are in that place, curiosity and childlike wonder just remains because we're in this I have no idea what's going on space. Once in a while I'll be in that space, just something crazy will happen and it's just I just burst out kind of laughing. Wow, immediately my mind went into judgment around it and whatever, and then it just shifted so quickly. And that's just, I imagine just doing that is enough for me. One day just sitting on a rocking chair, watching all the things happen, and then watching my judgments show up and then disappear and then show up and disappear. And I don't know. I've had some of those experiences lately where I've been sitting. I actually have this before I went to Burning Man, we went to Walmart and I was looking for a chair for outside my RV, and we ended up finding rocking chairs like the beach chairs, but rocking chairs, not one but 5 different kinds. So we spent 45 minutes sitting on all the rocking chairs trying to figure out which one's best. And it's crazy. Every single one had its positives. I'm why can't we just put them all together into one good rocking chair? But ever since then, I have this rocking chair sitting in my living room. It does not fit with any furniture or anything. I have this beach rocking chair that's in the middle of my living room, and I sit on that thing. I'm rocking in a beach rocking chair, and I think that's the best $75 I've ever spent. Which is actually ridiculous that a beach chair could be $75. So yeah, let's open it up for anybody that has any shares or anything that is wanting to come through here today. What is Spirit wanting to share through my peoples here on this call? Hi, Jill.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm back home.
Welcome home.
Thank you. Yeah, and I spent an amazing morning with my doggie.
Mm.
And when I first got home, of course, she licked me in the mouth for a half an hour. So she wanted to know what I had been eating that she missed out on. But this morning I brought her, like every morning I bring her to the beach, and then I groomed her and I cut her hair and stuff, and going to bring her to the dentist and have some teeth removed this week. But yeah, so I'm sorry for your friend's loss, and yeah, the doggie's so precious to me. Every day I say to her, I love you more than life itself. And it's almost true. I love that dog so much, and she can be so bad, and I love her even more. I'm like, okay, be bad. It's okay. You can carry on being bad. She'll take something and she'll hide it under the bed, and then she woke me up 2 nights ago when I got home, growling at me because I had moved in my sleep. And I might have actually been like a threat to whatever she was protecting under the bed. So I find that kind of funny, but I also kind of find it like our most base level, we behave like that. We're so protective of our stuff, protecting all our stuff, and that's what she sort of shows to me. Like when she does that stuff, is like, how protective am I of my stuff? I don't know, but maybe I am super protective of my stuff, and growl at people when they get near my stuff. But I think it's a sort of metaphor for all of that. And what you were talking about today, just now, oh yeah, listen to this. On the cruise I was on, did I tell you that a guy jumped overboard?
No, what?
A guy killed himself.
Oh my God.
International news.
Wow.
It was all over the BBC. It was all over the news everywhere. They were like, we were looking for him for 12 hours, and we had the whole Coast Guard. And like, I heard the thing in the middle of the night. I heard this code orange, and I thought that meant Coast Guard. I didn't hear the words exactly. I just went back to sleep, and then next day heard about it. And, it was, there's lots of rumors about what happened, but anyway, it happened. So that was kind of like, whoa. And but today when you were talking about the rocking chair, and so when my husband, I always talk about Lee, when my great teacher and friend, when he discovered the envelope, how it happened was that he had designed this house, a 10,000 square foot house that he built himself with the carpenter in the middle of the nowhere in Meaden, Tennessee, and West Tennessee, and really backwoods. Like when he built it, the neighbors would come by, they go, "What do you think this is? Is this the Playboy Mansion?" You got to think this is in the early 70s. So he had an indoor swimming pool, and it had a dark room, because in those days we actually did photography, and it had maids' quarters, but all the bedrooms opened up into a 40-foot high greenhouse in the one side of the house, the south-facing side of the house, and there was an ice storm, as there are in West Tennessee. It was January, and there was an ice storm, and it knocked out all the power for 2 weeks. And during those crippling conditions, one morning he woke up and he opened up the doors from his bedroom on the second floor, where all the bedrooms were, into the 40-foot high greenhouse. And he got met with a whoosh of hot air, not just cool, warm, it was hot. And that led to his thinking, the genius, that if he could understand the principles governing this whoosh of hot air on the freezing day where icicles were breaking outside his window and branches were falling because of the ice-laden branches, if he could figure that out, it was the first passive solar house he built, that he would have discovered something profound for humanity. And it took him 2 years. And he thought about it. That was how Lee was. He would be thinking about it. But at the same time, he was running a business, building houses and shopping centers all over the South. And he had one client in particular who used to fly him in his helicopter everywhere, and he flew him, to build these strip mall kind of things all throughout the South. And that guy went belly up. And Lee had 15 mouths to feed. He had his brothers, part of the business, and his brother's wife, and all the kids there, and he had a load of kids, and there are people working for him. So he had a lot of people that he was responsible for, and his major client just went under. He didn't know what to do. So he took 2 hits of LSD, and he lay under a tree, and he put his arms under his head like this, and he looked up at the tree, and he said, "Why is it so easy for you and so difficult for mankind? You just stand there all day long, you do nothing, and all your resources come to you. And mankind, he has to freaking go over to Iraq and go or wherever and go kill someone just to toast his toast in the morning." And boom, the answer came to him in a flash. And he ran in the house and he drew out the first design for the envelope, which was just a circle within a circle. But he understood the principles, which were the connection to the earth, mass insulation, and orientation to the sun. So he then figured out the whole design for the envelope. But it was given to him by a tree, by asking the tree, how can you just stand there and do nothing? And that's the point. We don't need to do anything. I think about it so often. Here I am growing all over the world, blah, blah, blah. Okay, yeah, I go all over the world. And, but you don't need to do anything. You just need to but I do ask God before I go about all that stuff. So I just ask him who to talk to and what to say. So I guess that's why I go. And but really, honestly, when we get right down to it, all of this running around for acquiring bullshit that we don't need, and all the stuff that we pile up on top of each other, so we get stuff and then we need more stuff to support that stuff. The George Carlin, if you've ever heard George Carlin talk about stuff, it's like one of the funniest routines ever. And it's really literally just sitting in that rocking chair or just being that tree, and it's like, I see that's what ecotexture allows us to do. And what will happen when we're all like the lotus eaters, what will happen when we're all given that opportunity to live in homes that take nothing from the earth, air, or water, take nothing from their environment, are in complete harmony with the earth, all of this stuff. So we really don't need to do anything. So we really can sit in the rocking chair and do nothing. Well, I think the great opportunity then is to create art and to create music and to create all of the arts and to make beauty. And just now when I was in Greece and I went to the Acropolis, the seat of Western civilization, and I was so this is something I had looked forward to. I'd never been to Greece in my life. And I spent a few weeks, as you know, on a sailboat there in the Ionian Sea, where Homer lived, where he lived in Ithaca. I was on the island of Ithaca. And, and while looking at the Acropolis, while going up to the Acropolis, I don't know if I shared this with you when I was there, but there's millions of people, millions of tourists, and they've got this sort of platform thingy that's this round circle that the Greek government has put up. It's kind of concrete-ish kind of thing, and they've got this Greek flag sitting on it, and it's in front of the Acropolis. But the really weird thing about it is they've lost the whole meaning of the Acropolis. And they've lost the whole meaning. We've lost all of this meaning. They positioned that so that when you got your photo op, you could get the Erechtheum and the Parthenon in the same shot. So they sort of positioned this thing. That's my theory. I don't know whether it's true or not. But my theory is they positioned it so that you could get a good photo op of both of the major buildings up on the Acropolis. And I spent a lot of time up there. In fact, I was making a painting, and this guard came over and said, "Oh, you can't have your legs over the edge, but since you're painting a painting, you can have your legs over the edge." And the minute I stopped painting, they came over and said, "You can't have your legs over the edge." It was really weird. But in any event, I spent a lot of time thinking about it because I went to the Museum of the Acropolis before going to the Acropolis itself, and this museum is phenomenal. And I did the self-guided tour with the little ear thing that you listen to instead of taking a tour with a guide. And it was so good. And I went to like every 70 objects in there and everything. It was amazing. And I learned so much stuff about all this history and, what all the meaning of everything was. And then when I got to the buildings themselves, to the Parthenon and to the Erechtheum, to this spot there, I realized how lost all of that was on all of us, because they positioned this circle where everybody's doing selfies, like that's what seemed like it was positioned for. And however, the Acropolis itself, the Parthenon itself, was a temple. These buildings were temples to worship God. There's no worshiping of God or even awareness that was going on. And so people are there to take selfies, ourselves, selfies. And this big building is there, and there were layers to the building. So there's the big colonnade across the whole building, and then there's an interior colonnade. And then at the very end, supposedly, was this, in the old days, they had bits and pieces of it in the museum, was this incredible statue, this magnificent, huge sculpture of Athena, who had won the battle to be the principal goddess of Athens, and she was in battle with, it was a contest with Poseidon, and Poseidon put his spear in the ground and salt water came up. But Athena, she came with the olive branch, and so this statue is her with the olive branch and the tree, right? And so people would walk up this incredible pathway, which I did, and you walk all the way up there, and you're praying the whole way up there, and you get there and you get in through this incredibly huge building, and you go in through the colonnade, and you're looking through the colonnade. In the old days, it's not available now, and you see this amazing statue right there, right, of the goddess that you've come to thank and say, thank you for my crops growing, my olive trees growing, or whatever you're going for your prayers. And anyway, it just was occurring to me when I was there how lost all of even the history of that is, even though I'm sure when you take a guided tour, which I did not do, they must talk about all of that. But the way that the whole thing, how the Greek government even missed the opportunity to put that thing right in the middle so it could be facing the Parthenon directly, and you could have that direct experience. So it was just an observation, and thanks for your call always. I love it.
Thank you for your share. Always love your enthusiasm around it. Now, one of the things as you were speaking about, there is no worshiping of God or anything happening. How do you know, right? Like, how do you know that?
I don't. It's just there's a lot of selfies going on. Maybe they're worshiping, that may very well be true. There may be, but I definitely do not get the feeling there may be. And I like you say, that's an assumption that I made, and maybe none of that is true. And it does not really matter. It's just, for me, it's kind of like a missed opportunity.
Was there a missed opportunity for you, or was it a missed opportunity for others?
I mean, for me, no. I was able to sit there for a really long time and take the whole experience in and see people come and go quite a bit. I saw quite a bit of movement in the time that I sat there. So, no, it wasn't a missed opportunity. Look at how grateful I was to have this opportunity to be there. I mean, I had read this book when I was 20 years old by Henry Miller called The Colossus of Marousi, and it was about his experience in Greece. And I remember since that time, always wanting to go to Greece, and then this opportunity presented itself. So I got to go, and so I was extremely grateful for that. And so, yeah, and I don't know, maybe a lot of other people too, but it did seem like I noticed this, for example, on the cruise ship. Last time I was on the same cruise ship a year ago, and they took away the library and the chapel. They took away the two quiet places on the whole cruise ship to make rooms for other stuff. I just think it's a state of our world right now.
But isn't it interesting if it doesn't fit our world, we're like, then it's not happening, right? If it doesn't fit the way we think it needs to happen, this is exactly what the Course is talking about, right? Like, it's like it needs to happen in the way that is organized in my mind in order for acknowledgement and worshiping and the opportunity to exist, right? It's like somebody taking a selfie. They must not be having this experience because they're not sitting here the way I'm sitting and having this experience. So it's an interesting place to look. This is what the Course points out. It's like, well, if you're having the experience, then how are you judging somebody else for not having it? And the only way you can is that they're doing something different than what you're doing. And like,
but that isn't, but I appreciate that, but that isn't what I was thinking. I was more thinking about, like, I really believe that architecture is really essential to what happens in relationship to the earth and to our lives. And I think, and so the missed opportunity of the government to place something there that would give that opportunity, that in terms of even laying that foundation for that. Now, I didn't think about necessarily that they weren't doing that, but yes, I did. But that opportunity wasn't as pronounced. Let's just say as pronounced, and that people may very well be doing all of that, and that's up to them, obviously. But there's opportunities that are taken away through how we build things and how we structure things foundationally.
Maybe so. And it's, this is what the Course says. We want things to fit into our fantasies of what they, we assign meaning to all of these things, how it's structured, how it's this. And then if it's structured this way, then it means this, right? And then this is the law of chaos. In what the Course says, like, well, according to Jill, if it's this way, then it means the opportunities will be captured. And then to somebody else, it's different. Then to somebody else, it's different. So everybody's got all their little truths. And the Course is like, recognize your own fantasies and you will realize the truth through it, behind it, right? There is nobody else experiencing anything. There's just you experiencing the world and your fantasies about how the world should be and the judgments to those things. There's nobody else out there. See, the moment that you're like, there's other people out there, all of this work is lost to you because it creates confusion, right? Because there is somebody else out there that needs to have a different experience or could have a different experience, and then maybe they'll be better off. And where are we even projecting that from? Because are we all better off, or are we still running around doing a lot of things, collecting a lot of stuff? All right. So it's when we are in that place, it's just for us in that moment to recognize the fantasies and the illusions that we hold on to. There's nothing else that needs to happen, right? This is why the rocking chair, the sitting there of like, why do I need to do anything? Why do we chase around for all this stuff? And the tree's just standing there. And all resources come to the tree. All knowledge comes to the tree. And it's like, if I get chopped down, I get chopped down. If the forest burns, I burn, And it's because there's no separation between the tree and the earth and the other trees and all of life. And it just knows it's part of the whole. And if it looks visually like it's being destroyed or whatever, none of that is actually happening because whole is still there. And this is what the Course is reminding us of. Like that when we remember this, and it's like moments that we will remember, we're like, oh wait, I can connect the dots, that everything is part of the whole. But the moment that we choose an illusion to hold on to as instead of reality with a capital R, it becomes separated. And it's like, well, then he gets to do this. Well, the government should do this. And this is not built this way. And then we go into this loop of like things need to be done. And that's the chaos of the ego, is to create that confusion for us. And then later on, we're like, what did I even go and try and work so hard to fight for the things to be that way for? It's like, we come to a point where we're like, what did I run around in circles for so long for? What did I chase money and chase status and power and all this stuff for? When I could just lay under a tree and get all the knowledge that I need. And it's just, it's an invitation from the Course to be able to use all of these things to recognize that, and the way that those things, the architecture was designed, is so perfectly done. So perfect that you were able to have what you had, the experience, and then share it with us. And now we may have a similar experience to yours going there, and so on and so forth. And the way that we perceive it, that love and that sharing just carries on forever. It's never lost. And from the moment that it was built, from the moment the statue was built, like the worship and the reverence of it can never ever be lost. Only our interpretation of lost loses it. And just because we lose it in our mind doesn't mean it's actually lost. This is what the Course is really pointing to also about who you are. Like you, as a complete extension of love and of God, cannot be lost. Even if there was different thoughts and different projections and different shames and guilts that we carry and all that stuff. Other people projecting onto us projecting onto them. Nothing's ever lost. There is just this illusion and fantasy that we hold on to of loss. And so are we willing at any point to catch ourselves as we judge, right? To say, oh, here, I'm going to leave the door open. You show me a blessing instead, right? Bless this judgment and show me the opportunity that I have to just, I need do nothing, right? Let me learn here. And then from that, like, you can only laugh and it's really the key to happiness. I have this book, of course, A Year of Miracles, open, and it's just sitting here open on the key to happiness. So I'm kind of feeling inclined to read this, and we'll open it up for another share. Okay. So I feel like I've read this before. I probably have, because it's underlined, but it's just open to this page right now. So A Year of Miracles by Marianne Williamson on day 140 says that on the key to happiness, it seems to me that the key to happiness lies in getting over yourself. The happiest times of my life have been when I was more involved in something I was doing for others than in something I was doing for myself. For any perception that focuses only on our separate needs will ultimately breed fear, and in any perception that focuses on our oneness with others breeds peace. Many people struggle and fail to find peace within themselves because they don't really realize who their self is. That is why the ego is so dangerous. It would not have us believe that we are separate when in fact we're not. It would have us believe that we're separate when in fact we're not. We can't have inner peace unless we feel complete within ourselves, and we can't feel complete outside our connection with other people. You cannot find yourself by only looking to yourself, because in essence, that is not where you are. The real you is an expanded self, literally one with the entire world, and so we find ourselves in unity with others. We cannot be happy unless we are wishing everyone the same. So just tying this whole thing to the fact that we are all having the same experience. And we cannot be happy unless we are wishing other people the same. It's a lot to be, a lot to hold every day, So, Jill, thank you for that amazing share, by the way, the share about ecotexture and Lee and the envelope about ecotexture. I feel more enrolled in this moment than I ever have been about ecotexture because of that story too. So, amazing. Who else would like to share? We have some time. And love to see where we go next. What else is feeling alive and wanting to come through? Mike, you want to share, brother?
Sure, man. Hey, guys. Yeah, haven't been on a call in a while, and it's lining up with what I'm going through. And there's a few people on the call that already know about this, but it feels kind of like a good opportunity to just process it a little more and express it. So I feel like I'm going through a really big shift internally, and this has to do with cannabis. And I had a very eye-opening moment this past weekend. I might have been with some help of some plants, who knows? And I realized that it has to go. It has to go in my life. So when you got on and you start talking about fantasy, this is something that came in strong for me. And even with the message of that this has to go, came the message of I've been living a little bit in a fantasy. And I kind of have this way where I really love like the airy fairy, you know, the magic of the universe and right and synchronicity and manifestation and all this stuff. And I've always like assumed I'm good and my life is gonna all work out, and it will. And it will go, I'll get everything I need. And it's like I realize there's some grounding that's been missing from that, where my masculine energy gets to step forward more and handle myself in such a manner where I'm really taking care of my baseline foundation, you know, what I'm putting in, what I'm putting out. But I realize that I don't know who I am without it. And I've opened a grief portal in myself. Like I've just been sitting in just like a massive, like I can even feel it as I talk. It's just like a lot of grief. And I haven't been able to fully decipher what the grief is yet. I think part of it is I'm grieving the loss of something that was so special to me. And I haven't even cut it out 100% yet. It's like, but it's on my mind like all day, every day. And because it's not just like a habit that I'm stopping. I've made it a part of my identity, perhaps in a fantasy way. And when you were talking about like, okay, there's this give it over to God, but then in the next moment, your ego could be like, yeah, I'll handle it this time. I got it. You know, I'll choose it back because I think that that's what I need. And it does me a whole lot of good. And when you said that, I got this like tug of war image in my mind of like playing tug of war with God. Like I've given it over to you so many times. Yeah, you got it. And like, I know what's best for me and I'll keep it here. And I've realized that with it, I have convinced myself that I need it in so many ways because of what it does for me, right? Like it actually taps me deeper into my tap power, deeper into myself, deeper into God. My realizations, my downloads are more clear. I can move emotions with it. I can alchemize. I use it in a way in which others don't, right? Mine is more personal and all these things. And it literally feels like losing a lover. This is how deep it's going with me. And because it just hasn't been a one-day turnaround, because I'm still testing it on both sides and thinking about it, I feel it as this like deep life shift that's occurring within me that the deepest part of myself knows is freeing up a true part of myself that has been a little bit quieted, right? A little bit suppressed. I see that there's like a part of me that may not even fully believe that that part of God is within me because I haven't been willing to call upon it naturally and go there with myself to find out, oh, I can produce natural, clean energy on my own. I can be tapped in. I can be okay and not be in fear without the crutch of this plant. And there's a lot of me that's still clinging on right now. That's like, fuck no, I'm not giving this up. Like, I wrestled with it like no way, is this thing, leaving. But I think you started the call with like, I forgot how you phrased it, but it was just stepping into this next version of ourselves, like who feels like they're like leveling up, about to go somewhere. And while I've always thought it's more of these external things that I need to do, like put more work in it, be more disciplined, and get up earlier, and be consistent, and put yourself out there and your offerings. While all of these things are true, I have overlooked, or I've known it, but maybe just haven't been willing to fully look at it, that it is the baseline foundation below all that, where I choose to place my energy and my love and my attention, like my how I feel inside, what I'm putting in, what I'm putting out, that's going to have all that happen. And it feels like a lot of effort that's not working when I am still saying that I am this person and relying on these things that make me feel really good. So there's a lot of fear. There's a lot of fear that's coming up of like where I'm going with this. And I don't fully know what the new relationship looks like. It might be a special occasion thing, here and there. But I'm ready to let go of the fantasy part, that everything is all good or good enough, or I could get by and I'm fine. I could still have both. And I've seen in my life that I constantly have had one foot in, one foot out, in the sense of like, I mean what I say and I'm going to do it and I want all these things, but my other foot is still in comfort and I'm not willing to fully give it up. I'm not willing to make a clean break. And it's been hindering me. And I know that it's funny, I worked on the feminine part of me for a long time to allow myself to like feel and be held. And like, I've done a really good job at that, but I've also noticed that marijuana is a feminine plant. And I love it so much because it makes me feel held, and it makes me feel at home in myself. It makes me feel safe. It makes me feel warm. And it's like, I'm scared to go without that safety into the masculine part that says, yo, Mike, like we have to get on with it. These things that you want so bad in your life are not going to happen unless you clear the runway. And I got a download that was like, yo, like God's like, hey, we want to come play with you, but we're not going to land on a dirty runway. Not in a judgmental way, but like, Mike, what a clean path looks like for you, where it's really open and spirit can get through to you. And the channel's been a little bit blocked right now, while I convince myself that my channel is most open with it, because it is most open when I smoke. But then when I come back, I feel the consequences of that and the fogginess and the blanket in my life. So yeah, I just wanted to express that. Thank you. I feel like I just moved emotion even with it. And I have been a little hesitant to keep talking about it. And I don't have like a final way of putting this. I really do need to give it time. But yeah, I've just been feeling this like thing in me like this that has opened of grief, and I'm just trying to allow it to just take its course. Thank you.
Awesome. Beautiful. I feel like I'm sensing that Zachary really wants to share something in this. So I'm just going to let Zach share first. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, 3 days from now will be 2 years without marijuana. And everything you just shared, I had so much like, it brought a lot of joy to me, because I had those, like, all of everything you're sharing right now was just so resonant with how I was feeling before I literally like put it down. And I was like, I don't know that I can give up weed forever. I don't know that I want to put it down forever. It's like it's been such a thing. For me, the big realization was I realized like what it did for me was numb the emotions I didn't want to feel, and boosted the creativity that I always want to connect to almost immediately. And I'm not saying that that's your experience or what it should be, but I had to get to a point where I was like, oh, I'm just not going to do it today, and I'm not going to do it tomorrow. And there was a really like critical moment about a year ago. My wife was pregnant. We had a loss at 19 weeks, and that was the time in the past where like my body would just be like, go to the weed store, buy weed, even though my head was saying like, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. And I'd just be like, yeah, I'm doing it. I don't give a shit. And for the first time, I had thoughts about marijuana, but I didn't feel the body pull. I didn't feel that like kind of instinctive, like I'm going to do it regardless. And that was like such a big moment where I was like, oh, this thing no longer has a hold of me at a time where it would have been really amazing to just kind of numb out and feel whatever I wanted to feel in that moment. But for me, it was just like, it had to start with, I'm not going today. I'm just, I'm not going today. And then we'll see. Maybe I will smoke again, maybe not. And then I was in Vegas a month or two ago for like 5 hours. Sorry, Alex, I didn't hit you up. I was there for like 5 hours. I went to see a football game with Jay Taylor, and somebody was smoking like a pretty, nice big bleezy, and I smelled it and I felt sick. I felt like nauseous. My body was like in repulse from it. There was some other things I was going to share, and my daughter's homesick today, so I'm not on drop-off duty, and I saw the call, and I was like, oh, that's where I need to be right now, and I'm not sure why, but, and then a year later, this guy shows up, right, and it took really me, like, connecting to who I had to be for me, for my family, for this guy to come in, right, after 2 straight losses. So, I think, yeah, man, just, I know the moment you're in, to whatever degree I can, and it's not an easy moment, but there's a a road of really letting go, but like that, the whole conversation around choosing the fantasy, right? It's like, what's the pathway to let go of the fantasy? It's just letting go and practicing letting go, right? And you already have the knowing of what's good for you, and so it's just like the more you honor that, the more all your desires and the things that you really want to feel will come through naturally. And I just, that's something that I can share, like from firsthand experience, that it's not easy, but that love for you is there, and it's beyond, the fantasy and the delusion of what that can create if we're using daily. Or for me, it was wake up, sativa, sativa indica throughout the day, and then indica at night, like all day, every day. It was a high functioning, or I believed I was a high functioning weed user. So. Anyways, thank you for your share, man. It was sweet for me to hear. And yeah, man, if there's anything I can do to support, just let me know.
Amazing,
Yeah,
beautiful.
thank you. I just real quick, I just want to say thank you, Zach. Yeah, because you really get it. And the part that resonated most for me is like a day at a time. And that's what I've determined. It like when I'm like, I'm done forever, that feels like trying to bring a mountain into the day. And I'm like, I know what I just need to do right now. And then I love what you said about your family, because yeah, I've been wanting to call somebody in forever, right? A partner. But Lisa actually helps me realize this in our integration conversation, that perhaps this is kind of like my woman that I've been hanging on to, and there hasn't been room for who and what I want to come in. And I had an experience one time when I was in Peru with a friend, and it was when I was stopped smoking for 2 weeks, and she didn't really know me, and she said, Mike, there you are. She goes, I have not been able to connect with you. She goes, I don't even know you. There's been like a cloud, like a force field around you, and I haven't been able to get in. And she's like, now there's something that's not there, and I can see you. There you are. Hey, by the way, I'm so and so. So you've given me some more food for thought. Thank you.
Beautiful. Great share. Mikael and Mike. Mikael, go ahead.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Good morning. Aloha, everybody from Ashland, Oregon, one of the cannabis capitals in North America. I'm so grateful to tap in and tune in and to receive this universal feedback from within on so many levels of being here now in this present moment. I myself have grown cannabis, distributed cannabis, and been a habitual user of cannabis, sativa, since I was 12 years old. Yeah, I started smoking and distributing cannabis in 7th grade. It was what created me to become an entrepreneur in life. It started early on in life of just buying a quarter, and then I realized, if I buy an ounce and I sell 3 quarters, and I get my quarter for free. and and then it turned into pounds. So I can buy 5 pounds, sell 1 pound, and I make my 4 pounds. And I considered Mary Jane my very best friend in the entire universe. Archangel Michael, Mike Wall, Michael Rosenberg, there's only one of us here in all these different forms, receiving feedback. This is just in Zach, bro. Way to go and pave the way for our natural evolution and consciousness, brother. I'm a father of 3, and I became a CBD formulator to help myself give up cannabis, and I make natural nutraceuticals to help replace that unconscious habitual thought. Because what it really comes down to for me, and just relating, I'm just so grateful that you guys opened this space up for this specific topic, because it's just a thought. It's a habitual thought of wanting to fill ourselves up with something that we are unconsciously lacking from within, such as just sitting and breathing fresh air and meditating. And whether it's tobacco, whether it's cannabis, whether it is sex, whether it is gambling, like, I don't care what it is or what it isn't. It's always something for somebody, some way, somehow. Shopping, gambling, whatever it is or it isn't, right? Like, my invitation to myself and to everyone, I also is to let go of these psychological, emotional, habitual patterns and programs that are not serving us any longer. And I am in the same boat as you, Michael, brother Bear. I love you so much, and I'm so grateful for your vulnerability. I am releasing cannabis after 30 plus years of my life, and I never thought I could live without it. And ultimately, the real medicine that I feel like is present right now is just really learning how to relate to our divine feminine, to recreate the relationship within ourselves. Like, in the aspect of realizing that the pain and the suffering in our minds is not going to be healed by any habitual plant usage. I don't care if it's peyote, ayahuasca, psilocybin, DMT. I have done more. I have done over 1,000 5-MeO DMT Bufo sessions in my life. Right? Like, and I'm not here to like proving. I'm just saying, like, I have taken things to the fullest extreme, to the fullest extent. I've smoked more and done more things than LSD. I released LSD. I released DMT. All these things, and the ultimate truth is just sobriety equals clarity. Christ, cosmic consciousness. Like, can we give up? Can I give up? Not can I, reflected in we, give up all of this substance abuse, sexual substance misuse and abuse. Like, you want to talk about like just the deepest, most unconscious traumatic patterns and programs? Holy Mother of Mary, Holy Mother of Mary, may we free ourselves, each and every one of us, starting with my own self first. God bless you guys. God bless this group, Alex, Eric, Ballas, I love you. I used to sell you cannabis cross country, and many, many, many others. Many, many others. I've been a distributor for God knows everything. Like, I mean, I got nothing to hide. I got nothing to prove. I'm just grateful to be able to have this release with you guys in a safe, sacred space right now.
Amazing. Thank you for that share. Mike, continuing from Mike to Mike to Mike.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are actually three of us here, me, Mark, and Eric. We're all on the call together. Michael, that was very powerful, man. And there's, kind of continue on that topic of just like the substance. For me, it was alcohol had the same effect on me. And, I had this delusion that I could just drink, have a drink or whatever. And it wasn't until, my therapist was actually, told me to write a letter to my addiction. So I was like, okay, I start writing it, realizing that this was actually the true love of my life. It was the only thing that was ever there for me I felt that ever did anything for me. And so I did. I wrote a love letter to alcohol. And then it just turned so ugly at the end. And it was just like this beautiful bad breakup that this delusion that I had. And that was like the first step I took to really just severing ties. It's kind of like having that, that girlfriend that, you break up with, you have a bad time with, does nothing for you. And then somehow you find yourself back and you're like, what am I doing here again? And for me, that's what worked. And, I've been sober for a little over a year and with no thoughts. I don't even think about it because it's just really done nothing for me. And, that was the delusion that I had for so long. That's something else. And then these other things started popping up. I would obsess over something else, and it really wasn't until I could really bring in the Holy Spirit into literally everything in my life and just really try to is this working for me? Is this going to benefit me, or is this something that I'm just numbing the pain, numbing the feeling? And that's what it comes down to. It's these deep traumatic feelings and traumas that we have inside that, are there that we just, at least for me, I should speak for myself. I shouldn't say we, but I know for myself, that's exactly what it was and is. There's still some things that come up. But, to witness, the powerful moment and, I think, Mark Anthony said it best with the men just really having to come together and get vulnerable and really talk about what's really going on with us in the masculine, and invite that feminine in us and show that we are these gentle giant creatures that can harmoniously get along with everybody now and deal with what we have to deal with. So I appreciate this call. I'll have to listen to a little more because we were actually kind of talking a little bit, but I'm glad you recorded this. And very powerful. And Jill always, it's great to see everybody on this call. Lisa Renee, we love you. We'll talk after this. And thank you, Alex, for this space and all these beautiful people that come on and show up on these calls. It means a lot. So if there's anything, Michael, we're here for you, buddy. And we all need each other because it's definitely, one day at a time, like you said, just, one day at a time. Sometimes it's 24 hours. What am I doing in the next hour or two? So that's all I got. Thank you. Love you all.
Beautiful. Yes, we all need each other to be whole. Go ahead, Eric.
We're switching into this one. Oh, Mike. Turn that off. Yeah. Brother Mike, I was feeling very emotional with your share, and still am actually. Like it's very personal and emotional for me what you shared because I've been going through it too. This year I took 4 months off of space from that and like pretty much all substances, and it really is one day at a time, and for me it was 4 days at a time because the first 4 days are the roughest, and it's a lot to let go of. It feels like a lot to let go of, and you need brothers to lean on and support. And I'm still. It's been like 8 days or a week for me now, and it's still. I'm getting emotional about this because it's like I feel you, bro, and I'm like I want to be there for you. And I'm like it's really emotional and like in tears of joy because I'm hearing you speak this and like awareness is the first step, as we know. Awareness is the first step before we can break through it. And I feel like for me, for you, for other people on this call, possibly, this is like a huge turning point in like having everything that we've said for so long that we want in our lives. And, my prayer is that I can keep up with it and that, you can too, and that we all can like get that clarity and that forward momentum in our lives, knowing that we need nothing. Maybe we need some brothers to lean on, but we need nothing to ingest personally to like, we need to feel. We need to feel our feelings. We need to feel, and forgive ourselves for everything that we've done to our bodies, to our vessels. And, it's not going to be easy. And we're not alone. Like, I'm not alone right now. Like, I have brothers here. And, I'm so grateful I'm not alone, Like, in my head, it feels like I'm alone often, Like I live by myself with my dog, and he doesn't talk to me. And, but I remember that I have these brothers. And, yeah, Mikhail, like, thanks for outing me. And I was already telling them the truth for that. And I'm like, yeah, I brought you into this. So I'm glad you're here. I'm grateful for your share too, Mikhail. And, as I've been saying and all weekend and in one of my recent songs and poems, like, together we rise. And like, I stand by that. Like, I'm here for you. Like, any moment you feel like you need to call me or anything, like, come see me. Like, got you. I got me. You got you. And together we're stronger. So thank you.
Love it. That's a really powerful share. I'm very proud of you, Eric, for, sharing so, like, it's a clear channel. I can tell from your heart what you shared. And, so thank you for sharing that. And if there's one thing that I know about Eric, he shows up for everybody all the time. I don't know how he shows up everywhere all the time on every single call that I've ever, I see. Like, Eric is everywhere. So he does make it really important to show up. We're going to come to we're concluding this call here, unless anybody feels really like something is willing to come off their chest, because we all have something that we know has us that we probably should let go of, right? I mean, for me, the moment you're sharing about cannabis, I'm thinking about video games and some of the games that I'm just like playing and literally almost losing my relationship over it like 5 different times, but just so stubborn with it. Eric's like, I'm letting go of video games too.
I need to talk to you about that, but I don't know if it's not here to share. But, yeah.
No, it's cool. It's like, cool. You got some downloads around there? All right. Well, we'll talk more into that.
We'll talk offline about that.
Yeah. So
go
ahead. No, go ahead, Mark.
No, I'm being prompted by my brother to speak. I was there with Mike this weekend and really stepped into a level of myself of realizing how important it is that as men, and of course women, but right now I want to speak for the men, is that we hold each other accountable, that we pull out a sword that's made with love, and that we start raising each other up by holding each other accountable. Because I'm doing it out of love. We're doing it out of love because we see the beauty in the men and our brothers, and we're, sometimes we're being just nice to each other and, blowing smoke, up our asses and saying that, because I think what I learned this weekend is we have to go into the tenderness and the love and support each other and realize it's okay, and that we can lean on each other, that we can open our hearts, and that we can be soft. And this weekend showed it, and that experience with Mike, and I love you. That's why I spoke to that. And to risk losing relationship, or risk you not liking me or never wanting to talk to me again, because I love you enough to say, no, I'm going to hold this stand for you right now, and I'm going to offer you another way. And it for me, it showed that in my whole weekend journey that I need to stand for men and heal men, and we need to do that together, and risk being tender and open and feel with each other, and stop holding these masks or these protections or whatever it is, because we want to live in love and we want to live in spirit, and it's time. And I say that for the feminine, because the feminine is holding all that. It's time that we start doing it for each other, so that we can be there for all of us, especially the feminine. So anyway, I just wanted to say that I love you, Mike. I'm here for anybody. I realize that that's what I'm here to do, to serve and to bring that healing. So
Beautiful.
for the space, the love, everyone that brings their love, because we all have that unique gift. So it shows up in the world.
Yeah. I wonder what the heck is happening this weekend that everybody's talking about having such crazy breakthroughs at the Purple Eagle Tribe. Claudia, go ahead, sister.
Well, I am in awe right now with all these beautiful brothers here. Mike and other Mike and Eric and brother Mark too. Very vulnerable. It's very beautiful to see this breakthrough, because we hold this and Mikhail too. Thank you, Mikhail, to be present and to share your big process. I don't know what is to have. I do, but I have an awareness that I don't have the addiction tendencies myself. But when I learn about this type of medicine, it's not even 10 years ago that I learned about this. I'm a 53-year-old now. I learned about marijuana and all these things. I'm 44 years old. I started when I was in my perimenopausal early stages, and through the medical process, and then other processes on my consciousness path, looking at what the Mike share about the feminine energy, and seeing like how we still can look for these tools to fill that gap that we don't know how to fill, right? So about the mother, like when we become adults, or we get to learn how to reparenting ourselves. It's part of our job as adults to reparenting. And when we cannot reparenting, then we follow these tools and sometimes they get like crutches. But I am so proud of all of you to seeing that these tools can be using that space. But when you get that, finally, it feels so cozy, right? Because I have felt that way as well. I learned how to use the marijuana. Even in the beginning, I was a little resistant of it. But when I learned about it, I say, well, now I get it. Why you get to that space? Because you need to feel this coziness on yourself. But using as a tool is the key, right? To embody this, like, wow, I can bring myself to that space when I'm in sovereignty. So knowing that, and I can stop a pain of myself, emotional and physical, if I learn how to talk to my body, myself, so this is what is being my integration. This year I only have sat down once this year. And in part of my work and my stepping out of the medicine is because I needed to integrate what I've been doing for like the last 4 or 5 years in my life, where I can see myself using all that, what I felt every single ceremony space, being in my daily life. Of course, when you have things going around, a lot of distortions or a lot of others and their noise as well, right? You get distracted and get out of track. But the truth for me has been like coming back to myself and just to looking at myself and stopping judging myself. Because when I stop judging myself, I have more compassion for myself and others. So that is the part that I've been like very standing for myself in this time of my life, because I think it is enough to mistreat it myself. It is enough to judging and having all these, conversations about if I did or I didn't do right or wrong. It was what it was, right? And that made everything around me, especially my closest loved ones that are my children, to feel safe again. Why? Because I am feeling safe with myself. So now they can come back. They never left physically, I'm saying, but energetically, they were like having a gap, right, between them and I, because they were trying to find themselves as well. So when I found myself 100%, like, wow, this is who I am without the influence of anybody. No my mom, no my friends, no my tribe, no my kids, no one but myself. Then I can be like remembering every single tool that I've been using in my life, all my psychosynthesis, all my everything that I've been like bringing myself with knowledge. Now I can really embody that. And again, it's just the embodiment, right? My heart, my mind, and to be in this body and feeling that way. So thank you again, these beautiful brothers. I love you, all of you, so much, all of you. And sisters, thank you for holding the fort as well. And yes, you guys get to be, and I'm loving seeing that, and the spaces are more and more open for the men to be vulnerable and be able to to feel those feelings other than anger, right? Other than anger. We all feel anger, and then it's time for softening, feel the sadness as well, and sit with the sadness and be in the sadness and loving that sadness too. It's a loving space to be, because after the tears, a lot of liberation of cortisol, you feel better, way better. So thank you. I just wanted to share that.
Beautiful, sister. Thank you for your share. Okay, so laser shares or not, whatever, but I have a physical therapy appointment in an hour, so I don't want to miss that. But Hannah, if you want to share, please do.
I will be really quick. Yeah. So 2 things I do. One is I talk to myself and I just say, okay, like for example, I had to go to a court case. A tenant came with 18 accusations. He was like, well, you're going to be locked up for like 16 years, 20 years. Even when I left the house, I just held the door and I said, Lord, I know you're going to bring me back. So I kind of talk to myself. I try to say positive things. And I always look at my past experience. Millions of times, a cleaner falsely accused me and said, you're going to be locked up for 16 years. I went and I won that case as well. So this time all the lawyers were busy. I was like, oh my gosh, this is such a critical case. And I'm going without a lawyer. But I said, God, you are my lawyer. So the first thing I do is I just try to talk to myself and I'm like, everything is going to be all right. Look at all my past experiences. I prayed to Jesus and he was always there for me. And then I definitely pray. Then the third thing I do is I have a network of 20 to 30 people. I ask them to pray. I always believe that any challenge, when you are held up in prayer, victory is yours. I have a church group. A lot of them are in their 80s, retired, but I explain my problem to them. They don't know about real estate, they don't know anything. I have to explain everything to them. But that friendship and the fellowship and the hugs and the warmth and the fellowship, and I recently read somewhere we are social beings. So, as much as you try to do everything by yourself, it's also good to be part of a group where you kind of have the connection and the support of the group. So, I would say personal optimism, looking back at your own history, seeing God's faithfulness, and then reaching out to God. And the fourth thing would be that fellowship, that warmth. At the end of the day, we are all human. Yeah. In the Asian culture, my father lost his mother when he was 2 years old. He was a very loving man, but he never hugged because he was never hugged. He was always like beaten, abused. Oh, yes, I try to hug my children and always tell them that I'm there for them. So that social connection, family connection.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for your share, and you always have a great story attached to your shares. So amazing. All right, little sis. My little sister Tasnova, she's got some wisdom to bless us with.
I just had to get on camera and come off of mute to, first of all, thank the brothers for the vulnerability. I'm like so moved. And of course, I've got to have the role of seeing this build up and come to this point where the brothers are coming together. So good to see the four of you, especially on camera after this weekend. Mike, I wanted to share with you that after my mother passed away, I learned that grief is one of the most, as all of them, but especially grief because it's not the one that we really know of. It's one of the most powerful emotions to experience, and we actually experience it a lot more than we think. We don't only experience it when we lose our parents or to death or a breakup in a relationship. We're experiencing it all the time, and the more we can give room for a transition like that, it's actually giving more room for love in our hearts, and ultimately that's what this is. It may be like, oh my god, I'm losing something, but that is like a version of grief that society teaches, which is partially true. More than anything, it's love expanding and evolving, you know. And one thing I love about plants is that it reminds me that it's always in me, even if I'm not partaking with it. Its wisdom, its spirit is always with me and in me. And I wanted to share that with you first to let you know that this is just love evolving. It's not a loss, you know. It will never be gone. Especially because it's a plant ally on Earth. And your vulnerability and clarity that's been coming through from this experience is a perfect reflection of how a true heartbreak, which is like a true expansion of love really coming in, right? And it's actually having you show up as your truest self, most clear self, where we can see you. You don't have to go anywhere but here. And we get to see you and join you in this process. Look at what you created from being open. And same to all the other brothers that shared, Mikael, Zachary, thank you for your vulnerability and share. And just to the three that I was able to witness myself, Eric Ballas, thank you for your vulnerability too. I feel like there's just this time that's coming, like you guys are coming to this place of clarity, and we get to really see you. We get to actually really see you, and it is so beautiful. You know, it is felt like one thing I spoke with Claudia about myself and my own fantasies of not feeling safe is that when I put on a mask, I have this belief that I am fooling every single person around me. Like, they don't know I have a mask on. They don't know that I'm not being my true self. Ha ha. But it's not the case. Everybody knows. everybody knows because I'm loved. Everybody knows because I'm a child of God when I'm not in my true self. And it's the same with each of you, you know, and not in a way of like anything. It's just that we see you. We see when you're not, when you're there and you're not there. We see when you're there all, you know, the whole way, and you're here. And that's the most important thing. And there's a lot more. We are more transparent than we think. Yes, that's what it was. And the brothers coming together is, if there's a way you can thank your mom, the great mother, the feminine, the sisters, the earth, it is by coming together like this. It is absolutely by coming together like this. So I feel Mark Anthony's tears. I feel your courage. I feel and recognize your willingness to be this stand. It's like really important. I think that you are a really important part of it coming together like this, and this in such a big way where we can all witness it. And I, as a woman in the community and in the world, feel it and feel so good in my heart. Like, wow, this is, we've arrived, you know, we're arriving, and all the women of the world are backing you because it's time, and we're cheering you on. You know, you're not alone. There are many brothers who are waiting for you, Mark Anthony, and each of you, Mike Wall, Eric Ballas, you too, Mike Rosenberg. You guys know something now. So I just wanted to pull all of that, you know, full circle it back. Just shout out to the brothers who are vulnerable. Shout out to the brothers who are doing this work and bringing harmony again on the planet, being the balance of the divine masculine to the divine feminine, you know. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you for that share. You're always so good. I was talking to Claudia yesterday about how good of a acknowledger you are. I'm like, I don't know very many people that will write me, you know, write paragraphs, you know, of acknowledgement, or even speak that long of acknowledgement of somebody. So really kudos to that gift, and may you never lose that, and people feel their own shifts and acknowledge when they're around you. Love it. You're amazing. Okay, Lisa. Oh, sending you so much love too, sister.
I felt when Lydia said about, you know, the power of prayer, that I should probably just speak up, you know. So I've been in the hospital since Sunday with severe back and hip pain and leg when I walk. So I'm not able to walk on my own, like to go to the bathroom right now. And I'm not feeling very safe in my body to like hold me and to hold me without pain. And so I just request for, you know, all the beautiful energy of everything that's happening in this call, and the brothers and all the love, just to, you know, send me a prayer of healing, please. And I receive. Thank you.
Lisa, I run a prayer group in the church and we pray Friday evenings. I'm going to add you to the list. We had 2 to 3 friends in the church who were suffering from cancer treatment. So they had severe back pain and headaches. Last Sunday, I met a lady and I told her, we are praying for you for 4 to 5 continuous weeks. How do you feel? She said she has 0 headache. So I'm going to add you, and you are going to get over this pain. Be confident, okay? It's going to work. When I delivered my second child, I suffered with back pain, but then I prayed and God delivered me. And let's believe God for a miracle.
I invite us all to just maybe have a moment with this collective juice.
I would love that.
To really just, not later, but now, you know.
Yes, oh, I love
now
that.
Is the moment to hold our sister Lisa, which is a reflection of that which is within us. May we all come together and hold this collective prayer space for her right now. Pretty please. Thank you, God. Please.
Beautiful. Well, I knew there was something special about this call here today, and I hope that, you know, being on this call, and I know that there is something for everyone that's listening and sharing and, you know, participating in this call, and you know, the vulnerability to share not only on here but it's also broadcasted live on my YouTube and Facebook. And there are a lot of people that actually watch this that I don't even know. And they actually mentioned to me, oh my God, I caught this piece or I caught that piece, and it is exactly what I needed to hear. So know that the courage to even share in front of people it takes a lot. But when we are in our true, authentic, vulnerable place where it comes straight from the heart, there is nothing to fear. There's only support and love that's going to come back because it's what you're pouring out into the world. Now, before we log off, I'm going to share. You want to share, Jamal?
Yeah.
Sure.
Like a month ago, I was in tremendous pain. I had knee pain, and I was able to walk before that. And one day I just laid down on my bed and I woke up with tremendous pain. The pain was so excruciating I couldn't even move for maybe 2 weeks. So I was laying down in my bed and I started praying to God, please give me a chance, let me walk at least one more time. I thought it was over. I kept praying. One day I woke, the pain kept going for maybe a week or two. And then one day I woke up and I was able to walk again. I was like, that's impossible. And I couldn't believe it. And I started crying because I never felt this type of pain in my life. It was excruciating. I couldn't even move. I couldn't make food. I couldn't walk anything. And then all of a sudden, now I could walk. I could actually walk. I could actually go to the store now. Before I couldn't do that. So it was just that, I broke down in pain and I asked God to give me the opportunity to give me a chance to at least try to walk one more time, and he did. He granted me that because the next day I woke up, all the pain was gone. I couldn't believe it. I was shocked. So now I know God is real and he's out there. He listens to you, and if you pour your heart out to him and you ask him to give you the opportunity to walk once again, he's going to grant you that. And, even though the days and weeks was going by and it was just now I could walk, I could actually, walk. I don't have to put ice on it no more like I used to. So it's from hearing what the lady in the hospital was saying, he gonna come around. He's right next to you. He just wants you to put you through that stage so you can become stronger as an individual. And now I just feel a lot stronger, a lot more powerful. And I just want to, relate to what she was going through because it was just incredible for me to be able to walk. Now I can walk. I never felt that type of pain in my life. I literally couldn't move at all. I couldn't walk. I couldn't move. I could barely talk. And now I could talk. I could walk. And I just want to, relate to what she was saying. Even though we're going through a lot of things, if you trust in God, and you let him enter your life, he will grant you that. He will grant you that opportunity to be able to walk, to be able to heal yourself. He's extremely powerful, and there's nothing he can't do that, that cannot happen. He can do pretty much everything. So I just wanted to add my story because I understand what she's going through. Pain is something that when it goes it goes in your body and it goes to your mind, it's excruciating. Mm-hmm. So just keep faith. If you keep faith in him, he'll give you the opportunity. So I just want to relate to what she was going through because I never thought it was possible. It felt like a miracle. I couldn't believe it. I woke up at 4 a.m. and all the pain was gone. I was like, how is this possible? I'm able to walk. I couldn't believe it. The pain, it's almost gone now. So it's just amazing to see that, to hear from her, and I just wanted to relate to that.
Beautiful. Thank you for that share, brother. And welcome to the call. Welcome to the tribe. Welcome home. Okay. So as we wrap up this call here today, it's been an epic call. I'm grateful. Thank you all for your share. Thank you all for witnessing. Thank you all for holding this space and this container for each other. And may our hearts be more filled with gratitude, our capacity to love and forgive grow, and that we remember that, healing is not something that we need to strive for, that we deserve or anything like that. It's our birthright. Okay, so our healing is our birthright. It already is so, and trust, Lisa, that, the healing has already begun because it always has been. And so thank you guys so much for the container that's created here. And I'm going to leave with one caveat here is we've been talking a lot about releasing this and releasing that and the identity of what this means to me and all of that. Be wary, this is what the Course says, of trading one fantasy for another, one identity for another. Because this is what we do. We vacillate from one end of extreme to the other end, and then we make that about this, and then we judge the other side, and then we do it all. It becomes very confusing. Your remembering and your healing happens in the holy instant, only in the right now. So in the right now, can you choose, no, I'm not going to smoke right now, or I'm not going to play a video game right now. And then the moment that you do, can you quickly come back and forgive that and be like, oh, okay, well, that didn't affect me that way. It's a true release knowing that that thing doesn't have me. Because even if you don't do it, and even if you're addicted to it, it has you. But if you are addicted to not doing it, it also has you. Right, so we just be careful of trading one fantasy for another because it just creates more confusion. We're not trying to protect fantasies here. We are trying to bring our fantasies to God, to truth, right? Not bringing truth down to our fantasies to protecting it. So that's the whole, I think we demonstrated really, really well together what this section really is. Chapter 17 has begun already so powerfully. On Sunday, Chris and I are going to be doing part 2 of the Arc of Awakening. So we won't be continuing 17, but 17 will continue next Wednesday. Make sure that you are a part of this whole chapter because this is a new chapter, new journey, new awakening, new rememberings for us. And, you know, I can feel it. There's new things that all of us are stepping into. And these calls are a space for us to continue to remember and to hold each other in light and in love. And just thank you all so much for, 7+ years of this call just going. And love you all so much. Much love. I got to get to my physical therapy now for my neck. And so, all right. Everybody. Much love, everyone.
Thank you.